So hey, it's Val. I'm making this video in response to a question one of my friends asked on Facebook. And the question asked was, what can be done to convince a lot of people that their help is desperately needed and not to turn their backs on animals? Well, convincing people of the desperate situation animals are in may not be that difficult because you can present them with compelling visual evidence, and that can do the trick rather quickly. What is infinitely more difficult is getting those people to care. You cannot make people care. What has to happen is a reawakening, a transformation of the mind. And that takes a willingness, and not everyone is willing because people understand that once they have the knowledge, they also have to make a change, and humans hate change. In Romans chapter 12, 1 and 2, Paul talks about change, and he tells the people, "Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies, dedicating all of yourselves, setting yourselves apart as a living sacrifice, holy and well-pleasing to God, which is your rational, logical, intellectual act of worship. And do not be conformed to this world any longer with its superficial values and customs, but be transformed and progressively changed as you mature spiritually by the renewing of your mind, focusing on godly values and ethical attitudes, so that you may prove for yourselves what the will of God is, that which is good and acceptable and perfect in His plan and purpose for you." Now, the Aramaic Bible in plain English tells us that we are not to imitate the world, but to renovate our minds. And I love that the Aramaic uses the word renovate, because I can really get a picture of that being a fan of fixer-up TV shows. Both words suggest making what is old new again and more functional. It suggests effort and a process of renewal to make something more beautiful, more usable. This is not about getting a new mind, but upgrading your mind with the truth. And the truth is that we, all of creation, are of God, of the divine, if you prefer that word. We are all interconnected. We are all one in the weaving of the web of life. And if you cut the threads anywhere, you harm the whole. Now, the ancient people understood this. It was part of their thought process. It wasn't even a religion. It was just what they knew. They understood that all of creation is of the divine and has a divine soul. What is different is the forms that we take, but not our intrinsic value. Many people today have lost touch with this truth, and that's why we are in the mess that we're in. Sure, there are some who get it, but I'm talking about the majority, especially the majority of modern people. Even if they acknowledge this intellectually, it is not a belief of the heart. We have been led to believe that we are separate from all, better than all, that our wants and needs come above all, regardless of the price others have to pay. And that includes other people as well as animals. Just spend a few hours watching commercials and reality shows. They're all about me, 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 me. You know, advertisers are smart, and so are those who make these TV shows. They're educated, and they've done a lot of research. They understand that our brains are wired for survival. They're hardwired to look at what's in it for me. What do I get out of this? Get this, buy that, make yourself bigger and better and prettier. They are exploiting your survival instincts. They conveniently fail to also convince you that in so doing you are causing the environment and other living beings to pay a terribly high price for what you don't really need. They also fail to tell you that ultimately, if we continue on this course of massive consumerism and meism, that humanity will also pay a steep price. It has to be. We are already paying the price in disease and obesity and crime and wars and broken relationships and lack of connection with the natural world. And I think that loss of connection in many ways is the root cause of our problems. We are out of harmony with who we are at our core and who we are meant to be and how we are meant to live. And it's not like most of us are living. What I have come to understand through researching for my book, Humans, Animals, and God, along with my appreciation and study of holistic healing, is that there's a great deal of what's in it for me when we care about animals and each other and the environment. Actually, I think there's probably more of what's in it for me when we care than when we don't. It's just not always immediate gratification or obvious. I mean, heck, it's nearly impossible to get people to make necessary lifestyle changes to improve their own health, let alone actively work to help others. Most people would rather die than change. Just give me pills and leave me to my vices. Ask any doctor, they'll tell you. It's one of their big frustrations. Well, anyway, to get back to the question, what can be done? We have to shift the mindset to change our behavior and do better by each other and for non-humans. We, each of us, have to heal ourselves. Now, the word heal means to make whole. It means to save. And I love that. We save each other. We save ourselves. In some scripture, the verses are translated to be saved. And when you are healed and made whole, you are saved, and there are no truer words that have been spoken. We save ourselves and the world by being made whole, by being healed in mind, body, and spirit, by cultivating a relationship with the divine and with all that is. And as we heal ourselves, we heal the world. These are just not nice words, these are truth. And when you find peace in yourself, you spread peace to others. When you refuse to use chemicals, you encourage manufacturers to make clean products. When you enliven your sense of empathy, which is also hardwired into your neurons, you care about others and you help them regardless of their form. You do not purposely harm others. Just think, just that one thing. First, do no harm. That would be a great first step for changing the world, don't you agree? The changes in how we think and behave just by embracing that principle would be massive. Now, I know in this modern world doing no harm is all but impossible. But can you just do less harm? Would you start by doing 10 to 20% less harm? It takes a little bit of knowledge and consciousness, and it takes almost no effort at all once you know how. Neither does doing just a little more good. We can all do a little more good. When the opportunity presents itself, take the step. Do it. Don't turn away. And this healing, this saving, it's not just a one-way street. As you heal the world, you heal yourself. How and when may be different, but you will heal. What you sow, you reap. As you give, you receive. Jesus says in Luke 6:38, "Give and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." These words can be taken as a warning and also as a message of hope. What are you giving? Are you giving pain and harm? Even if you're not directly doing it yourself, is it being done for you? Or are you giving pain? Instead of pain, are you giving hope and healing? We can all do better. These are spiritual principles, spiritual laws, and it doesn't matter what religion you are or if you're no religion at all. Similar words are found in most traditions around the world, and they've been around for thousands of years because truth is truth. And science has even proved that giving and caring for others from an aligned heart releases feel-good chemicals in your brain and makes for longer life and a more fulfilling quality of life. When you do right by others, even at a high perceived cost to your wants, you are doing right by yourself and for future generations of all life, including human life. Now, how do you get people to realize this? You educate them and you tell them the truth. As difficult as it may be, you do not judge them, but you show compassion. You care about them. You teach, especially you teach the children, primarily by example. You get them involved. Children know the truth. They're not as closed off from their hearts as us adults are. Children instinctively realize this connection with nature. They love nature. They love animals, most children. Nurture that connection. Cultivate it. Listen to them. Children will show us the way. And in the meantime, keep plugging away. We adults are not without hope. Our minds can be renovated. This is the starting place for lasting change and action. Most people love animals, they just don't know how bad it's gotten for them. I had no idea. Preach and teach it from the pulpit, and the radio, and the TV. Thanks to people like you who do care, other people are waking up to the reality of the situation. People are starting to use their knowledge and the power of the purse to turn the situation around. They're taking action in little and big ways. They are demanding change. And change is happening, even though it seems so slow, so frustratingly slow. There will always be evildoers, but eventually the number of people doing right by other beings will reach a tipping point, hopefully sooner rather than later. Because with the exponential explosion of the human population and the demands we are putting on animals and the earth and our resources, we are approaching a desperate situation. Things have to change. They will change. So some, like you, go a step beyond, do no harm. You're devoted to the cause. It is your mission and your purpose to make things better for others. Other people have different purposes, and that's okay because there's so much that needs to be done. We all do our part in a little different area. I encourage you to keep on. Do not grow weary. Yes, I know there are people who don't care. And more frustrating to me, anyway, are the people who say they care, yet turn away and do little or nothing. Still, be patient, be compassionate, be persistent. It is people like you who woke me up. I had no idea how bad things are for animals, and there seems to be no end to the things I learn about the horrors we perpetuate against them. It's sickening. Now that I know better, I do better, and I confess I can still do much better. I and many like me are a work in progress, and I hope to keep doing better. And thanks to you and people like you, I have been inspired and empowered to speak up for the animals. I have come to see, though, an even bigger mission of advocating holistic healing for individuals. It's a call to go beyond yourself, that you cannot fully heal unless you also extend healing to others and to the world. Because as we heal the world, we heal ourselves. As we heal ourselves, we heal the world. It is a cycle that cannot be broken. One cannot happen without the other. They're intertwined. We all need this healing and this renewing of our minds. Make no mistake about that, and do not underestimate its importance. There is much more that could be said about this, but for now I will leave you with these words of encouragement from Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. And we are changing the world for the better. You are not alone, and I thank you for all you are doing, my friend.